on, guys? Welcome to the video, and the car I'm driving today needs no introduction. It's been around long enough that pretty much everybody should know what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you guys the Porsche 911. Guys, well, this is a shape that pretty much everybody should recognize. It doesn't matter how old you are, because this car in this shape has pretty much been around for a very, very long time. So, and it's still really good. Come on! Alright guys, so what we're dealing with is a 2008 Porsche 911 Carrera S. And 2008 was one of the first years for the new facelift that the 911 got. And also went to a slightly bigger engine. And now you got about 355 horsepower to play with. So first off, let me go ahead and tell you that this is the strongest and healthiest 355 horsepower I've ever felt in my entire life. It's just so poised and nimble. I mean, Porsche's been doing the 911 for so long that, man, they've just gotten it right. And you know, this car is super special to me because, you know, when every other kid had a picture of a Lamborghini or a Ferrari on their wall, I had a 911. And I've been a Porsche junkie for a long time. You guys know I've got a 944 at home, and I love my 944 to death. I love it. Oh man, this one's so much better. There's just something raw about a 6-speed 911. You are just 100% in tune with the road. The steering is just a little too heavy. The clutch is just a little too heavy. But it's all heavy for a purpose because the car wants you to know what it's supposed to be doing. And as far as a better driving car, I don't know that there is one. In my book, from the cars that I've driven, and I've gotten to drive some cool cars now, this, man, this thing's just special. Just sitting inside it, you feel like you're in something different. You have this super, super simple steering wheel with no buttons on it at all. I know this is a 2008, there were less buttons in 2008, but they took everything away from the steering wheel. Why? Because the steering wheel is meant to do one thing, and that's steer the car. You know, it's got all the gizmos. It's got Bluetooth, it's got satellite radio, it's got, you know, magnetic ride control, it's got all that stuff. But it doesn't want to interfere with the driving of the car. You know, it doesn't want, Porsche, you can just tell, doesn't want any of that stuff to get in the way of what this car is meant to do, which is drive. So you've got a super simple steering wheel in front of you. I love the gauge setup. You get white face gauges in the S, which is really, really cool. But you know, tack right in the middle where it belongs. Electronic speedometer, which is something I really like. It's just nice to have those right next to each other. And that's it. You know, one thing about the 911 is it's not a very big car. I mean, you stand next to it, and especially if you put it next to my Mustang. And I know my Mustang's a bigger car, but you just kind of think two-door sports car. And the 911's really small. Weighs in right about 3,100 pounds. You have a lot less weight. But that just makes, whew, man, I know it's 350 horsepower, but it really genuinely feels like more. I'm super impressed with how strong this car feels. And really likes to pull in the upper RPF range. This flat 6 is man, it's quick to 4 grand, but past that it turns into a monster. Oh, the corner's so good. 911s of old were super dangerous because you had tons and tons of grip in them. Until they let go. But when they let go, because you had so much weight over the rear end, this, you know, being a rear engine car, the front and the back of the car like to switch places. And but in the newer cars now, it just, I don't know what they've done differently, but good God, you just don't run out of grip. I mean, obviously I'm not pushing this car near as hard as the car can be pushed, but it's just kind of easy. It's just, okay, what's next? And it's just, like I said, the car's not very big inside, but it's plenty of room. I said, I'm a very big guy, and I honestly, and this is a weird thing, I could daily drive this car. I mean, I think I could get in this car every single day and drive it. It's very comfortable. The ride, okay, so the ride, let's talk about it. You've got 2 settings when it comes to the ride and the suspension. You have firm and precise. We'll just call it firm. And then you go from firm, you push a button, and then you have scoliosis. That's the second mode. It's I'm sure it's great on the track, but to drive, I had to put it in cover mode. I'm all for driving, a car with a lowered car with rough suspension, but whew, I think it's tough. We're gonna go back into comfort mode now so I can talk to you guys without talking like this. Visually is where this car gets me though, man. This car is just, there's a reason Porsche hasn't changed it. There's a reason why everybody that owns a 911 has bashed into Porsche's head that, hey, you're never gonna change this design. Because people love it, man. It's an iconic, classic design that's been around since the 60s. And people just freaking love this thing. And see, I got waved to in the 911. Hello. And that's another thing. That's just kind of a bad thing about this car. You feel a little higher class than a 911, dude. I'm sure you feel normal if it's your car, but you kind of get the feeling that you're better than everybody else in your Porsche. Not really. That was a joke. That was a joke my dad made, and it wasn't a very funny joke, so you can blame him for that one. Guys, I love cars, and look, I love big power cars. I mean, they're so much fun to drive, but there is just something about having a car that is perfect. I mean, it handles perfectly, it rides semi-perfectly. The seating position is perfect. The acceleration, the power that this car makes, the power is perfect. I'm sure a turbo would be a little bit more fun, but just the naturally aspirated version is perfect. The looks are perfect. The brakes are perfect. This car, to me, guys, and I know I'm talking kind of fast because I'm super excited, but this car to me is without fault. And you can put people in the back. I mean, I wouldn't do it because, there's not really any room. But if you absolutely had to, you could put it in the back. I think this car, the reason it's so popular is because it can do that, is because it kind of bridges that gap between supercar and daily driver. Most supercars you can't daily drive because they're too fragile, they're too, high strung, whereas 911 is just super solidly built, and you just feel like you could drive this car forever. This one has 84,000 miles on it, and you know what? It feels like it's brand new. The only thing, and I talked to the owner about this before, the only bad thing about this car is the bills, man. It's a great car, but he said that every time you go get it serviced, and I'm not talking like something's wrong, I'm talking just like it's normal maintenance service checks. With Porsche, they have ridiculous intervals at how often you have to get these cars serviced. And they last a long time, but that's why. And he says you don't leave, hold on, he said you don't leave the dealership with a bill less than $3,000. Oil change for this car, $450. That's a lot of money. And that's the thing about this car. I mean, yes, it's very special. I love the design, but can't work on a 911, man. You gotta have someone do it for you. It's just too complex behind you. But the cool part about having the engine behind you is, man, it's so agile. I mean, there's no weight over the front of the car, so I mean, it's just super darty. I mean, you just point this thing where you want it to go, and she just freaking rips. I've just never driven a car this good. I've never driven a car. Okay, so in all my car reviews, I'm super PC, right? I have nice things to say, and I'll give a couple negative points. But if I really don't like a car, I try and hide that, mostly because some of the owners. I've never really driven a car yet that I haven't liked 100%. But this car, I can genuinely say I can't find a problem with it, other than the super hard suspension. When you put it into like track mode or hard, whatever you want to call it, that could be a little more comfy. But other than that, get out of town, man. You can't beat this car. It's just, man, it's smooth. The shifts, it's not a super Nazi shifter, but it just pops right into gear, and the clutch engages, right in the middle of the pedal the way it's supposed to, and it's just, even when you just punch it, everything that happens is just, I say smooth because it's what it is. It's still violent. I mean, don't get me wrong. When you do a first gear launch in this car, I mean, it freaking rips and throws you in the back of the seat. But it does so with grace. I've fallen in love with this car, so I'm gonna stop talking for a second and I'll let the car do the talking. You guys just listen. freaking perfect. It's unbelievable. You know, I know they say don't drive your heroes, and you know, don't drive your dream car because you're gonna hate it. But I'm in love. You know, I mean, lately the last few years, the Shelby GT350 has held my heart tight, and it still does. And that's like my latest, you know, dream that I really want. Long term has always been a 911. You know, I mean, you guys see my 944. I'm a pull the window up here. I'm a massive Porsche guy, and it has been just the biggest honor. I mean, the biggest honor to get to drive this Porsche today. So Donnie, I know you're gonna watch this video, man. Donnie's my dad's best friend. This is his Porsche. That's why the license plate, a bad dad. That's where that came from. And so Donnie, man, I cannot thank you enough for letting me drive this thing. And you guys too. I can't thank you guys enough for watching. Alright guys, so before we end this video, I want to ask you guys a question. I want to end it with this. What is y'all's boyhood dream car? What's that one car that every time you see it in a car show or in a magazine or on TV, you guys look at it and go, I'm gonna have that got one day. I will have that car one day. Let me know what it is for you guys. I want to see, because you know, I get to drive mine, and it's bittersweet because I get to drive my car, but I don't get to keep it. But I'll have one day. I will own a 911 one of these days. So let me know what it is, guys. And always, as always, you guys have any questions or comments for me, just leave them below. And I love you guys, and I will catch you on the next video. So until then, bye. Hey guys, one more thing before you go. Just so everybody's clear, this 911 is a good car. Good car. Good car. Alright, I don't know why you guys put up with me. Bye.